Hello. So, many years ago, and I'm talking back before my head injury on Palm Sunday in 2000, I was in confirmation class. And, of course, going to Old Tenent Presbyterian Church, there were the same people that I grew up going to church with the exception of few that moved away, and the ones that moved there that were after I started going there. So one day, there was this one class where I had to spell something. And right as I was spelling the words, one of the individuals who didn't get along with that much tolerated far more than got along with, had distracted me. He was a little menacing, ironically, when you think about it. And I turned around to yell at him. I don't deny that. I turned around and I was like, "Will you stop being such a little titty baby?" And then I went on a few other things. Now, this particular individual had actually that year or the year before been in a play with me. And I usually wound up getting the lead, if not the co-lead, which is not surprising in some regards in reference to later on at Crystal Lake South. I usually wound up getting the leads and co-leads in, if there was like more than one leading role, like an equal type thing, at Old Tenent Presbyterian Church. And so at Crystal Lake South, I wound up getting the Maid Marian role for Robin Hood, despite not wanting to try out and wasn't there. Irony, irony, irony. Anyway, there was this particular male, and he had red hair-ish. He was a ginger, essentially, a blonde ginger, strawberry blonde, whatever. And I don't remember what the name of the Christian play was, but his line that I remember, which is very minimal, was something along the lines of, "Gee golly, will bust my seams." That particular annoying nuisance who went to Manalapan High School had not liked the fact that for the most part I just ignored him. He just wasn't interesting to speak with. The individuals that I did have a crush on at the church were nothing like him at all, at least when I knew them. And when writing the words Holy Ghost on the chalkboard, right when, pun intended, with, the words, and then Holy Trinity and a few other words, I had forgotten the H. And Dennis, through this huge thing, he was like, "Oh, ha, 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 she doesn't know how to spell." And I looked at him and I'm like, if you didn't annoy me and didn't menace with what I was doing, I wouldn't have forgotten the letter. So, I know it's no big deal in a grander overall that I can think of, but, if that particular individual has something to do with causing issues to my Medal of Honor art project, it kind of wouldn't surprise me, because he literally was like a redheaded stepchild. Like, unlike, and I'm not saying that there aren't redheaded stepchildren that don't cause problems, but then there was him. And so while I do not remember his last name, I also really don't care to, because I have to. But yeah, he threw a temper tantrum because I did not find him attractive. I wasn't able to date at the time anyway, but there was just nothing about him that intrigued me. There was nothing about him that I wanted to get to know further. And he continuously annoyed not just me, but like everybody, because he thought that just because his mom and dad had a whole bunch of money, that meant that he could get away with things. And it was like, no, certain things just don't discriminate no matter how much money you have. If you're not a decent human being, realistically, that doesn't do much for you. You can't buy your way into heaven. You can't buy your way into certain locations. You can have certain aspects, yes, but if you cross over a line that is absolutely unacceptable, it doesn't matter how much money you have, realistically. And when we were having that discussion at, the confirmation class, he just continued throwing a temper tantrum, and I was just like, I don't know why you're arguing with me, because realistically, I don't care. You haven't given me any reason to find anything good in you as a human being. All you have done is cause problems for the pastor. You've caused problems for the different congregants. Like, there actually is a cartoon, Dennis the Menace, ironically, I just thought of. But anyway, Anyway, he literally was like that, only more annoying. And if you think about it, it's really difficult to imagine someone more annoying than Dennis the Menace, but there you go. So, that's all I had to say on that one.